When I finally locked out the lift, I said a whole bunch of nasty words in Serbian, and I was directing it to the voice that was telling me, I can't do this today. I'm not in the right frame of mind. I've had a horrible week, just lost my grandma. Let's not fight today. Let's not max lift today. Leave it for another day. You can't do it. All that stuff. Literally before the lift, all of this stuff was happening in my mind. It was a conversation between me and my willpower and this other voice. Our brain is an interesting thing. It's not interested in your glory. All it wants to do is preserve and basically make sure that you reproduce and you live a long life. Your brain is not interested in glory. I want glory. The glory today was 255. I wanted to get 255. I didn't come in today to get 255. I came in, just another session, did my squatting, went to the deadlifting, 230 moved really well, and I thought, geez, man, looking at that video, I can't not try 250. And if I'm going to try 250, I might as well get a PR out of it and get 255. So that's what I did. I went for it, and my brain immediately started telling me all these things. And it pisses me off when this fear, this anxiety comes in. It always happens. It happens when I was attempting 210 a couple of times. It's a whole bunch of negative thoughts which translate into negative hormones, and these hormones lock you up and don't allow you to perform your best. That's what pisses me off. That's why I was angry. I said all those nasty words, towards that voice, that insecurity, that don't do it. You're weak. You're not good enough. So much anger towards that. Obviously, it is a preservation, evolutionary thing. The body kind of locks up when it detects maximum effort, maximum risk type of scenario happening, and that's what a deadlift is. A deadlift for me is always that, because it's the most vulnerable position for your spine, essentially. I've told you guys about a scenario back in the day, which kind of planted the seed for all of this. I was doing a tricep extension with a dumbbell on the preacher curl, so I was kind of facing the other direction. I was sitting there, and I was just, doing the tricep extension. And as I was lowering the weight down, I kind of twisted, and I heard a pop. That left me 20, 30 minutes on the floor. I initially couldn't feel my legs. There was immense pain in my lower back. Somehow I came out of that well. The following day I woke up, nothing. But that moment there, for the rest of my life, basically serves as a reminder of what I need to do when I go into the gym. I don't want any triceps. I don't want any traps, chest, anything. The most important part of you training, at least for me, is your spine, your integrity, your core integrity. You need to be strong. There's no point having all this fluff on top of your body if you don't have a strong core. The core is the most important thing. And so ever since that kind of near miss, I've kind of been terrified of grinding weights out. And so, this 255 today, I had a horrible week, a whole bunch of emotional stuff. I'm still kind of recovering, and I'll be recovering for a long time. But on top of all of that, the willpower, the voices in my head were kind of like, don't do it. And I'm kind of getting shaky and anxious and all of that. And when I finally locked that weight out, despite all of that negativity in my mind, oh man, I just wanted to blow up. My head wanted to just blow up. Very happy with 255. You guys are seeing the squat. I kind of went up to 190. This gym that you guys are seeing is a whole new renovation of a gym. This gym, I've been to a few times, but they've done a massive renovation. And you saw the red machine, the leg curl machine. That's a Panata. I think that's how you say it. Am I saying it correctly? It's a very expensive brand. So this gym is just decked out with the best. There's a boxing ring in the corner, you'll see. And all these new racks. There's like 21 racks in this place, I counted. 21 squat racks. That is insanity. It's literally the best gym I've ever stepped into. But because they've added all these squat racks, there's not enough weights around. So all of my weights were mismatched. Everything was kind of colorful, like rainbow colors. So that's why I didn't go for 200. I mean, I could have chased up another freaking 5 kilos, but I couldn't be bothered. I got 190, stripped the bar back, and I did my 3 sets of 5 at 150, which is around 80% of that top weight. I did some volume in the squat. I'm planning to do 3 sets of 5 at 80% of the top weight every single day. I'm aiming around, I don't know, 75 to 100 repetitions in that kind of golden 70 to 85% range. I want to get a lot of squat volume now that I've kind of had this deload. I want to get a lot of volume in that, universally agreed upon golden percentage for strength gain, which is between 70 and 85%. The majority of your time should be spent there. And all the smart people in Russia back in the day in the Soviet Union, they studied all these top lifters and they worked out, I think it was Vukashansky led, Zaitorsky, I think these type of scientists, sports scientists, worked out that the majority of the successful lifters in these Olympic weightlifting competitions, the gold, silver and bronze medalists spend most of their time in training between 70 and 85%. And so that's kind of the prescription. This is kind of like the basis of all strength training. And so that's what I want to do. I've had a deload, even though it was emotionally, psychologically far from a deload, but my flesh, if you will, has had a deload. So I want to attack that, aim for 100. Why 100? Well, if you think about a 5x5 program, they get 25 lifts per session. They do 3 sessions a week. So that's around 75, right? 75 lifts in that kind of golden space. So I want to aim for that. If I divide 100 by 7, I get around 15, right? Around there. Between 70 and 100 is kind of where you want to be. So that's kind of how I got to that. So I did my 3 sets of 5. After that, I went to the deadlift, and for some reason, the deadlift always freaking feels good. Whenever I'm doing a directed strength block for the squat. I've said this to you guys before. I don't even know what the hell that is. Every time I squat a whole bunch, and every time I feel good squatting a whole bunch, because that's kind of been my problem in the past. Whenever I attack the squat volume, the hip kind of starts to hurt. I've kind of sorted that out. I'm far beyond that period of my life, so I can really attack the squat volume. And whenever that happens, the deadlift starts to feel real good. I don't know why that is. My squatting is feeling unbelievable, and that's translating to my deadlift. And now you saw 255. Before this crappy period of my life, I did around, I think it was 9 days, 10 days. I'll have to look at the book to see, of deadlift every day. And I was kind of averaging between, I want to say 190 and 210, kind of around that period every single day. That was my top single for the deadlifts. And then I had probably 7 days of no deadlifting or very minimal deadlifting during my period of struggle, mental, emotional struggle. So whether I did that and now I have a deload and now all this strength is coming in, it's hard to map out all of this biology. I've said this to you guys before. I don't worry about all this type of periodization. All I'm worried about is the work I do and the balance of the human body. That's kind of my biggest concern. So every push I want to pull, all these type of things that I've kind of spoken about in the past. Obviously, periodization has a place. Obviously, lots of work tapered off into little work and lots of weight. That kind of crisscross on a graph is best. But for me, I've always kind of realized that these kind of, these lasting effects of one block, I'm not sure how long they last for the next block. So this is why if I was going to periodize, I would probably just periodize concurrently. That's probably for me the most logical thing to do. Not spend vast amount of time doing one thing and then doing another thing and doing another thing. And then by the time you get to the third thing, the assumption is that the first block that you did will have some sort of decay because you moved away from that specific thing that you were training. So the idea is the decay is not going to be as drastic and you're going to have some of those benefits that you got in the first block in that third block. So I don't know. For me, all of that kind of, I get that there's a lot of people out there that are smarter than me. I've played around with periodization. For me, we know what the accepted strength, universally agreed upon strength range is, 70 to 85%. Spend most of your time there. Practice your skill all the time. Singles, heavy singles. That for me is the most important thing. I don't like spending a whole bunch of time away from the sport that I want to be damn good at, right? My sport is singles. And you can't practice singles with 50% weight. it has to be 90% weight or thereabouts. And you can auto-regulate that each day. Each day, 90% might be different, completely different, 10 or 20%, in some circumstances, depending on how you eat, your life, all that sort of stuff. So auto-regulation on top of these things seems to be the thing that I enjoy the most, psychologically, emotionally, physiologically. I feel like it serves me best. And I understand there's not a lot of science behind that. There's a lot of science behind the stuff that everyone knows. But to me, that doesn't excite me. What excites me is the human experience. I've been at this for a little while, and I have a whole bunch of anecdote, and I rely upon that mostly. Even though there's all sorts of fancy, shiny papers that come out left, right, and center. I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone, but I'm not sure if I believe a lot of that stuff. A lot of these subjects which they're studying upon seem to be noobs or people that haven't been trained for a long time. And so, superimposing those results onto somebody that's been lifting for 10 years, how accurate that is, I'm not sure. That's why I always go towards my anecdote. I'm not somebody new that needs, guidance. I've been around the barbell for a little bit and I understand what works for me. Anyway, so the top singles are now approaching 230. This was the lift that made me want to do the 255. I thought I was confident. I was strong through the core. I was very just sure of myself. And whenever I'm sure of myself through that trunk, through that lower back region, I just want to accelerate even harder. A lot of you guys have said to me, you don't lift aggressively. And for that, the reason why I don't lift aggressively and attack from the very onset of that pull is because I'm afraid of something popping. And so what I like to do is I like to ease the power in. It's kind of like when you're launching a car. If you dump the clutch at 9 to 10 grand RPM, you're going to spin all sorts of stuff, even if you've got a four-wheel drive. What you got to do is you got to kind of not drop the clutch from 10,000 or 9,000. You got to drop it at around 3,000 or 4,000, where that power can be put on the ground. You have acceleration. If you drop the clutch at 10 grand, the clutch might just pop off and you might just break the car or the differential or whatever the case might be. So you want to ease the power in so you have transferring force onto the ground so you have acceleration. That's kind of my idea. I don't like dropping the clutch, if you will. And I see a lot of people, they just walk up to the bar and just get down, grip and rip. And I'm like, God damn, man, you are dropping that clutch from 10 grand. That's cool, man. It's all fancy and stuff, but I just feel something is going to snap in the system. Anyway, so as I was preparing for this pull, I was just thinking about, basically the voice in my head was like, man, you shouldn't have been doing this. You shouldn't have been doing this. You haven't touched anything heavy for a while. You shouldn't be doing this. You've come from a bad period, all that sort of stuff. That's what's happening in my brain right now. I look like I'm just a happy chappy getting ready for a deadlift, but in my head it's just war. And I think all of us have doubts when we approach a maximum effort in whatever the case might be. There's always some anxiety. It's that evolutionary part of our brain that says, chill, man, chill. Let's focus about tomorrow. Nah, man. Let's do it. It was a fight, but I'm happy with it. Confident all the way through. Very, very happy. It was a slow lift, I can tell you that. But I'm very, very happy. Very happy. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.